Hey, what's going on everyone? I'm the OPJellicent, and we're team building for our second week in the IBL D-League, up against Gray and his Los Angeles Valienteis. We both won our first game, so this is going to be a very interesting matchup. I honestly think this matchup slightly favors me, but my opponent could bust out some cool tech. I'll be going over their 11 Pokemon, and then I'll be going over the 6 Pokemon that I'm bringing to counter their 11 Pokemon, and the match will be live tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, so hope y'all are looking forward to that. But let's go ahead and hop right into Gray's roster. So, first Pokemon they have right here is a Tapu Bulu. One of their better Landorus-T responses, because it's actually not my Z move user. Landorus-T cannot run Z, so I cannot Supersonic Sky Strike that, so I could see that being their primary Landorus-T switch-in right here. Other than that, it's also able to go ahead and take on Pokemon like Empoleon. It's shut down by Sapsipper, Goodra, and Shaman though, so I'm not quite sure whether they actually want to bring it or not. But we shall see right here. It can also help take on my Mega Lopunny if it runs more of a Fizz-Def variant. Victini right here is a giant threat. It could be a Choice Scarf set. It really just blows back everything with V-Create on my team. Now, once again, the big stuff to that is Goodra, and I guess Deontay too. Goodra and Deontay would be my primary two switch-ins to any variant of Victini, so my opponent does have to keep that in mind. They could run something like Hidden Power Steel, and maybe U-turn to get momentum as Goodra comes in. They could go ahead and bring out like their Hydreigon or something else on the Goodra after U-turning out, so that's something I have to keep in mind as well. Hawlucha right here kind of has an unmatchup, I'm not going to lie. I'm not really expecting it to come because I have so much priority that threatens it. Landorus-T can shut that down with Explosion, Thundurus basically takes any hit, and they do have to keep Chartyberry in mind, obviously, because of the Stone Edge possibility right there. I'm actually bringing Chartyberry, Landorus, spoilers, because I really need a solid Hawlucha check, and that is going to be the best thing. Thunder Wave is also a thing on Thundurus right here. It's shut down by Fizz-Def or Uniclus, so honestly, Hawlucha should not come, but if it does, I honestly don't think it'll be that big of an issue with just the mold of my team as a whole kind of deals with the Hawlucha right there. They have a Hydreigon, which Draco spam looks really threatening against my team, just because Flash Cannon can obviously go ahead and hit my Deontay too. Once again, Babiri Berry is a thing, and Deontay can actually naturally take a Flash Cannon if it is at full health and has enough special defense investment right here, so that could be very good for me. Just a giant threat though, but it is pressured out by Pokemon like a Weavile and Mega Lopunny, so if I had to predict the Scarfer, I'm going to say either Victini or Hydreigon would be their two Scarfers right here, just to be able to go ahead and pressure Pokemon like a Weavile and Lopunny. Obviously, they'd still have to be careful about priority, like Fake Out, Quick Attack, Ice Shard and whatnot, but Hydreigon can also go ahead and pressure my Uniclus, which their team really struggles with right here. Something like an Acid Armor Calm Mind Uniclus could very well just 6-0 their team from previews, so I could see Hydreigon being one of their better resistances to that Pokemon. They have a Togekiss right here, which Togekiss has an interesting matchup. It doesn't really break through Empoleon or Goodra without flinching them down, so if they want to rely on that, that could be a thing. I believe it does get Steel Wing, so it could actually hit my Deontay pretty hard, but other than that, it's not really that big of an issue right here. It does also get a Defogger for the team, so that could be a better way for them to get rid of hazards, and it could carry something like Dazzling Gleam. I'm honestly kind of expecting like potentially a Yache Berry, Dazzling Gleam, or Flamethrower set to be able to go ahead and lure my Weavile into staying in, but I would never stay in, obviously, right, because Scarf is obviously a potential, and I do have really good responses to Togekiss in terms of defensively switching in on my roster, so that could be very good. They have a Silvally right here, can be any types. I'm not really going to talk about it because I don't know what set they're bringing. It can be literally any type, so yeah, just got to keep in mind stuff like Parting Shot and Defog. Just stuff that standard Silvally usually runs right here, and just got to scout the type and go from there. Palace one right here is a really good response to both my Landorus-T and my Weavile. I could see like a Fizz-Def set coming to be able to take on those two. Unfortunately, it is pressured by stuff like Thundurus between Grass Knot and Focus Blast. Mega Lopunny's High Jump Kick really breaks through that thing as well. Empoleon can run a Shuka Berry, and at that point the Earthquake is going to be doing literally no damage right here. And Shaman, even though it can obviously go ahead and hit me with Ice type attacks, Seed Flare is going to go ahead and blow that thing away, so I don't see Piloswine coming either. Heliolisk right here is actually an interesting pick. Now, I could see something like an Assault Vest Heliolisk coming just to be able to help take on my Shaman and my Thundurus, but Shaman would actually be one of my better responses to Heliolisk, so I actually don't know how likely that is. It would mainly be to shut down my Thundurus, but even then I could run Focus Blast and 2-hit KO that if I predict it to come in. Obviously that would involve hitting 2 Focus Blasts, which is not the best idea, but yeah, if it does come, I would think it would mainly be for that. Maybe some sort of niche agility set could come, but I don't think they would actually do that between all the priority on my team. I guess Dry-Skin could be a good response to my Empoleon too, but we will see. They have an Aerodactyl right here, which is another Stealth Rocker for the team. Actually, I think that's their first, right? Nothing else got Stealth Rocks prior to this. Silvally. I guess Piloswine got it too, so this is their second Stealth Rocker right here. And the rocks do really well against my team. After a Swords Dance plus rocks, the Chardy Berry is not going to matter against +2 Hawlucha, so that should be something that I prioritize right here, but I don't know what they'll do. It's able to go ahead and outpace my entire team, except for Mega Lopunny, but unfortunately, it is very weak to a lot of my priority between Aqua Jet on my Empoleon, Ice Shard on my Weavile, so really I'm kind of expecting like some sort of Sash Rocks lead to come, if anything, but they could also bring like a Choice Band and just blow stuff back. It's really walled by my Empoleon if I do run Shuka though, and my Uniclus, and as I said, that priority really gives it a hard time. It does get Ice Fang for Landorus-T, so that's something I have to keep in mind too. Tentacruel right here could be one of their better responses to Weavile, if they run like a Fizz Def Rocky Helmet set, and it also does switch into Shaman and Empoleon relatively well right here, because if I run Giga Drain, they can go ahead and Liquid Ooze me, which could be very solid. It also responds to, I guess, Magmortar and Miss Maggie's too, just with that really nice Spadef. I could see it being a nice pivot against a lot of Pokemon on my team, but my main offense right here, Thundurus-I, Landorus-T, and Mega Lopunny, really do not care about that Tentacruel at all, so I don't know whether he's actually going to bring it or not. And then finally a Mega Aggron right here, which could, I guess, run like some sort of Curse set, also a secondary rocker. I think a better rocker right here would be Aerodactyl, and then they could run like Curse Mega Aggron. That could definitely be a thing, but really I'm not too worried about Mega Aggron. It's pressured by a lot of my offense. It can naturally take some hits from Weavile, like Low Kick and an Earthquake from Landorus-T. It definitely does not die to a high Jump Kick from Mega Lopunny, so Mega Aggron right there. Just gotta whittle it down and make sure that I don't throw away too many Pokemon to it, and I should be good in that regard. But that's going to be Gray's team right there, and let's go ahead and get into my 6 Pokemon. Okay, first Pokemon I got right here is my Thundurus. We have nicknames, by the way, finally. So we got Mincini or Thundurus right here. It is a Chardy Berry set with Thunderbolt, Thunder Wave, Sludge Wave, and U-Turn. So, like I said, Hawlucha is just a giant threat. My team naturally deals with it, but I need to make sure I bring those Pokemon that can actually deal with it to make sure it's not a problem, and my Thundurus right here is one of my best ways of doing that. So, as I said, because of the possibility that we can't take a Stone Edge at +2 even with our Chardy Berry after rocks, I have Thunder Wave right here. So basically, if the rocks do go up and that Hawlucha does get a Swords Dance up, rather than trying to attack it, I Prince or T-Wave it, and then I can go out into my Weavile and Revenge Kill it after right there. But other than that, Chardy Berry does allow me to take a hit for like Stone Edge from Tapu Bulu. I can go ahead and take a Scarf Stone Edge and then knock them out with Sludge Wave. I even take a Banded Stone Edge on the switch and then I can force them out. U-Turn momentum right here is really nice too, just being able to get me into some of my breakers, like for example Landorus-T and my Mega Lopunny right here, so that could be very valuable. Sludge Wave is obviously there for the Tapu Bulu, as I said, and yeah, this is mainly here to respond to Hawlucha, but it can also naturally deal with Tapu Bulu, which is very cool, and I guess there's not much else to say about it besides the momentum, so let's go ahead and move on to my Weavile. Okay, second Pokemon I got right here is my Weavile, which is named after Phaeton from the Phantom Troop and Hunter x Hunter. It is a Focus Sash lead set right here. This is going to be my lead in pretty much every scenario. We have enough speed for Max Speed Jolly Hawlucha, because as I said when going over Thundurus, I do want to make sure I can outpace that after the Thunder Wave if it does get an Unburdened boost right here from that Grassy Seed. We have Knockoff, which is able to go ahead and nearly always Oko Victini. It's like a roll 80% in my favor, and even if I don't, I could knock it out with Ice Shard after. We have Icicle Crash, which can go ahead and pressure Pokemon like Hydreigon. The main idea right here is I'm really expecting a Scarfer to lead, either Victini or Hydreigon, and I can go ahead and lure those two into staying in, and ideally knock them out, or at least get some good damage on them. And ideally, if I can knock off the Scarf, then they're not even a threat anymore, because Mega Lopunny and my Landorus can go ahead and outspeed them in most scenarios right there, so that could be good. Worst case scenario would be like the U-turn out into Mega Aggron, but that's not even a bad scenario for me, because my next Pokemon, which is my win condition, needs damage on Mega Aggron to be able to actually win right here if it is a Spadef Mega Aggron. So I can go ahead and knock off the Mega Aggron for like 30%, and then I can go ahead and win with my next Pokemon ideally. So Phaeton or Weavile right here is just going to be my primary lead. Pretty much nabs a kill against everything. Low Kick does like 60% to Piloswine, which is very good. And let's go ahead and get right into my Landorus-T. Okay, the next Pokemon on my team right here is my win condition for this game. It's named Mike after my good pal, the Pokemaster Mike, because he actually helped me come up with the set. He noticed that Special Landorus completely destroyed my opponent, and then I was like, let's slap a Rock Polish on it and just sweep their entire team. So we have a Rock Polish with Sludge Wave, Earth Power, and Psychic, and the Expert Belt right here. I believe there's 3 Pokemon, maybe 2, that we don't hit for super effective damage, so the Expert Belt is really good right here, and basically all I need to do, as you guys can see right here, is weaken Aerodactyl, weaken Hydreigon, and weaken Piloswine, and this thing just wins. Obviously a Silvally type, I can't really predict, but Sludge Wave hits Tapu Bulu, Earth Power hits Victini, Psychic Okos the Hawlucha, Hydreigon I need to weaken, Sludge Wave Okos Togekiss, Silvally I need to scout for, Piloswine I need to scout for, Heliolisk right here is going to get knocked out by Earth Power, Aerodactyl after Rocks is going to get knocked out by Psychic, and then obviously Earth Power is going to go ahead and blow back Tentacruel and Mega Aggron. So you can go ahead and see how big of a win con this is with the Expert Belt right here. So after the Rock Polish, we outspeed their entire team with no problems. The only thing that can actually outspeed us would be the Hawlucha after an Unburden boost, which hopefully by the time this thing comes in, that thing is gone. That would be very helpful right here, but if I can get up rocks and just get a bit of chip damage on things like Aerodactyl and the Hydreigon, this thing can easily sweep their entire team, so I'm really looking forward to that right here. The speed is, I believe, for a Modest Togekiss after, actually I believe it's for Modest Victini / Adamant Victini if they do up to bring that right here, but let's go ahead and move on to my Empoleon. So getting into the second half of the team right here, we have Empoleon, which is running a Shika Berry, which allows me to go ahead and sponge an Earthquake from Aerodactyl and scald that down, as well as potentially an Earthquake from the Mega Aggron too, which could be very good. And it is my Defogger right here. I couldn't come up with a better nickname, so I just put that there. And we have Scald, Stealth Rocks, and Ice Beam. Stealth Rocks, as I said, are a really vital play to being able to sweep with my Landorus-T. They chip down the Mega Aggron, they chip down the Hydreigon, they chip down the Togekiss into range of Sludge Wave, so that's going to be very valuable. And then Ice Beam is mainly here to hit the Hydreigon too, so Empoleon is very valuable. It's my main response to both the Hydreigon and the Togekiss right here. I'm able to go ahead and sponge attacks from those, which is very good. I guess that's another thing Shika Berry is for, potentially the Earth Power from the Hydreigon. If it is a Choice Specs Hydreigon, I want to make sure that I can actually take 2 Earth Powers and get my rocks up in any scenario, so that can be very helpful right here. And yeah, mainly Empoleon's right here to respond to those 2 Pokemon, get up rocks to support Landorus, and let's go ahead and move on to my Mega Lopunny. So I figured that Mega Lopunny right here had a really nice matchup just offensively against their team, being able to outspeed everything, even the Aerodactyl, which I did speed creep with the 220 EVs right there. And the double priority is just really nice against Pokemon like Victini. If that's weakened, they might expect to take a Fake Out, but then I just bust out the Quick Attack after and knock that out. Same thing with Hydreigon. If that is Choice Scarf and they think they can take me on, I just Fake Out into Quick Attack and I just knock that out too, which is very good. It is definitely struggles with Pokemon like Mega Aggron. If it is a Fizz Def set, I cannot 2-hit KO that with High Jump Kick, but the damage on Mega Aggron would be very good for my Landorus too, so I value that a lot. And then the other thing would potentially be a Fizz Def Tapu Bulu, but I really don't care about Tapu Bulu with this team, given the last Pokemon on my team, which I will be going over after Mega Lopunny right here. Just named it Dimensions, because why not? It sounds kind of cool. And yeah, that's basically all to say about Mega Lopunny. Just an offensive breaker against their team, as Mega Lopunny should usually be. And let's go ahead and move on to my final Pokemon this week. Alright, and my final Pokemon right here is going to be a Max HP, Max Defense, Relaxed Goodra right here with an Assault Vest. I figured that I wanted both physical attacks and special attacks, because Earthquake can go ahead and pressure Victini, if that is Assault Vest, as well as potentially Mega Aggron, although I do have Flamethrower on the set. It is also running Assault Vest, so it's kind of like a mixed defense mon right here. It can respond to Pokemon like Heliolisk, any sort of Victini, and Tapu Bulu. Victini was a giant threat because I did not have a Fire Resist up to this point, as well as Tapu Bulu. Banded Tapu Bulu could have been a problem, but Assault Vest Goodra right here, I guess the Assault Vest doesn't matter in that regard, but Fizz Def Goodra right here can go ahead and take any 2 banded attacks and just blow that away with Sludge Bomb, which is very valuable. It's also a lure for Hydreigon. I can live a Draco from Hydreigon and just Dragon Pulse that and knock it out, which is very cool too. And yeah, that's going to be my Goodra right here. So the match will be going live exactly a day from when this video goes live. So I hope you all tune in then. Be sure to go ahead and check out my opponent, and I'll see you all next time. Later.